Hi gang, Jay Brightwell here, grand welcome in Orlando host. So I want to do a update on the market. We're right after Easter 2025. This is going to also serve as my Q2 update, but really we're in the middle of the year and I've got some important stats that I want to share with everybody, and some recommendations. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email, let me know. Our booking window is at 60 days. So if you look at your tape chart, we should be booked out again for May 1st. We should have May and June largely booked up, okay? And according to the stats, 17% of people are booking in the 15 to 30 day mark. I don't like that one bit. I want to really avoid those people. Those are the last minute people, the unorganized people. And as we know, it's a little bit opposite of what happens in the airline industry. Airline industry, the closer you get to that travel date, the higher the rate. In the STR industry, it goes down, down, down. Every day that a home does not book closer to check-in, it loses value. I don't like those bookings one bit. 31 to 60 days, all right, fine, 18%. What I'm really after is the 61 to 90 day people, and even more so, 91 to 180 days. So that's 30% of people. And what this tells me is that those numbers don't add up. 29% should be at combined 61 to 180 days. Sorry about that. Bet my fat finger on that. So my recommendation here is to leverage Airbnb. And Airbnb allows us to set an early bird discount at 90 days or 120. I played around with this quite a bit. I've talked to experts, and what we've come up with is a 10% discount for anybody booking 90 days on out. You capture the organized traveler. You capture people with more money. They're going to be spending. They're going to be more organized with their travel, right? They're savers. They're planners. These are the good travelers. It's going to cost you 10%, but the reality is, again, every day that booking goes by closer and closer to check-in, it loses value. So 100%, I'm an advocate for putting that early bird special on at 90 days. Some of the super premiums, like last minute stays, I'm not an advocate for unless for whatever reason your home is not trending on Airbnb. If you want to spike on Airbnb, I have some recommendations, including last minute bookings. Again, not my favorite type of people, but with Airbnb, you are covered. VRBO, Expedia Group, Vacay Connect, not covered. So your protection as a host is best with Airbnb. Demand. What you're not seeing that I didn't put on here is that March was down 23%. April's up 23%. Average is 0. Why? Where did Easter fall last year? In March. So March spiked very well. April, as a result, went down. And then our friends who travel for Passover didn't make their way to Orlando this year. This year we did. I know because they have very unique requests that they make. We just didn't have many of those requests last year. And this year we had our normal amount of people traveling for Passover. So we did see a nice little jump here in April. May is like the bottom of the toilet bowl. Same with September. Kids are getting like their transitions for school are in May and September. So the fact that May is down 5%, any bookings that you get in May, normally what happens is May, we're somewhere around that 20% occupancy. I expect that to be lower this year. Doesn't mean that you have to be under 20%. There's things that we can do to press your home further up in May. June, we're up 3%. Now, I say with context, because I'm seeing better numbers in June than past June. This is a number that we're getting from AirDNA. We did know that there was going to be stabilization coming to the market around Q3, and that's what we're seeing. We don't have any official stats for July, but what I'm seeing personally, mostly anecdotal, is that the bookings that are coming in July are good. And again, most of these people are people who have the Airbnb early bird special turned on. Nice stats around 4th of July, end of July, they look really good. And so right now, more than ever, getting out to August, September, October, the early bird means more than ever. So if you do not have that turned on, if you have a question about it, just shoot me a note and I'll get with the pricing team. We'll talk about what the pricing team's looking at. Highly recommend that 90-day early bird at 10% off. Like to stay stats. A recommendation, please allow 2-night orphan fills. We don't need to have 2 nights on the weekend. if there's going to be like a 5-night available. But 40% of people are searching on weekends. That number still exists. Just call it half. Half of people are searching for a house. They plan on staying for 5 days or 7 days, but they're searching on 2 nights. So to get your home the most amount of availability, we recommend that you at least allow 2-night gap fills, also called orphan stays. And you're also missing 1/5 of the market if you don't have that turned on. Big stat here: 3 to 4 nights, 40%. That's huge. That's mostly what we're seeing, those 4-night stays. 5 to 7 nights, we're at 27%. 63% of all bookings are 4 nights or less. So why is this? We'll talk about that. It's uncertainty. There's sediment that's out there. We're going to talk about that. One more thing that you can do. What we have set up for most of our homes is a strict policy. In short, it's a 14-day policy. If you want, we can move your cancellation policy closer and closer to check-in, allow some more searchability, allow some more visibility. Unfortunately, if it's turned on, there's more cancellations. So there's that. If you are interested in capturing more visibility, and in particular on Airbnb, we can move your cancellation policy to a more flexible one. And again, people are generally searching for moderate. I'm not necessarily a fan of moderate, but the firm would be somewhere to go. We are currently on strict, and there's also like a super strict. So we are currently, for the most part, on a 14-day strict policy. Stats. Hey, for us, we are at a 17% increase in payouts for every home. So big win for our pricing team. And I know this doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be making all the money that you intended. The market is still down overall, year over year, going back to 2021. But for us, relative to our competitors, we're up 17% over our peers. This means that our pricing team is doing the right thing. Our personal metric for success is not your average daily rate. It's also not your occupancy. It's a combination of the two. So I really want to focus on this. You say, how well is my home doing? I want more money. I don't want to look at the ADR, because you can have $200 per night and we can rent it $200 per night. But if we're only filling it up 30% of the time, it just doesn't make any sense. Here's why. The weekends are going to be your $200 per night. And especially now more than ever, the weekdays are low. So minimums on your home only allows you to capture so much. So your ADR may be depressed relative to the market, your average daily rate may be depressed relative to the market, but because our homes are capturing much more of those troughs, those longer stays, those weekday stays, not just the weekends where all the money lives. But why not find that balance? And the balance is the RevPAR. That's your revenue per revenue per night available. So it's 30 days that are available for the home to be rented. It's your revenue per night available. I'm just going to read this. RevPAR is revenue per available room, a combination of ADR and occupancy. It's difficult to balance, and it's important to understand it. Our team, our pricing team, led by Cliff Botts, a grand welcome, spectacular human, meets every week. They talk about the metrics. What metrics are they looking at, you say? I believe that's the next slide. My face is in the way of this. No, I'm just going to read it. So this goes back to, why are we seeing shorter stays? We're seeing tariffs. That's a thing. It's leading the headlines. Whether you love them or whether you hate them, it doesn't matter. I'm not here to talk politics. I'm here to talk about what is happening in reality. In reality, tariffs make people nervous. And when they're nervous, what do they eliminate? What's the absolute first thing that they eliminate? It's travel. That's it. Quite simply, they stay home. Maybe they spend something at home for their family. They buy gifts, but they're eliminating the travel expenses. Sentiment is a thing. What we are seeing, and this came from, I believe, Visit Orlando's website. Yes. The UK travelers and the Canadian travelers are down about 20% per country. 20% Canadians, less traveling. Same thing for the UK. They're just parked in at home. Probably my suspicion is this has a lot of like anti-Trump on it. Like, look, I don't want to come to that country. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get home. To me, that's incredibly insane, but whatever. So what our pricing team does cover, yes, they're looking at the sentiment in the market. They're also looking at airline data. The airlines are the leading indicator of what's going to happen to the STR industry. So they're studying that every single day. To set your prices, what we're looking at is price labs. This is what they monitor every day. Price labs, and they also use key data, and they also use AirDNA. So they're using these three things, but it's ultimately price lab that sets your home. But again, they're studying all these different areas as well. In Orlando in general, supply is up. If you drove around here, you've seen the construction. There's a continual dilution of the Orlando market. That's what it is, boo. Now, we did see this back when I talked in Q1. The demand is stabilizing. We saw this coming. We knew it was coming. We knew it was coming across the industry in general, that demand is going to stabilize. The high-end traveler, they're still gone. The luxury traveler, they're still gone. They're staying at resorts. They're staying at high-end hotels. But again, the with that increased supply, the budget traveler, the economy traveler, and we just saw this week with Easter, the quality of the guests, their demands, and accordingly, their challenges of leaving positive reviews is hard. It's not a great traveler right now. That's the truth. That's the reality. Hey, what about Epic Universe? That's coming in May. Visit Orlando expected 5.9 million extra visitors this year. We don't know what that number is actually going to be, but we know it's a massive miss. How do we know? Because it's opening in May, and May data is down 5%. So, boo. The other thing that we know is that Memorial Day, which is obviously a peak, it's a holiday. It's not necessarily a peak holiday, but it's kind of like that kickoff of summer. It's a giant stinker. It's really a non-starter. It's basically this year just another weekend. So I can't tell you why. I'm looking for more data on this, but it's looking more and more like the Epic Universe opening. It's just moving people who would come to Universal anyway, and it's moving them from one park to another. Maybe it's a good time to come and go to the regular 2 Universal parks. They'll probably be empty as everybody's visiting the Mario Kart and the How to Train Your Dragon at Epic Universe now. Recommendations. Okay. So I'm getting this a lot. People say, oh, look, it cost me more to have somebody in my home renting at that price, Jay, than to sit empty. Okay, what I'm asking you to do is crunch the numbers. In almost every case, this is not true. I can't actually think of a case where you lose money hosting somebody unless there's like a massive problem in the home and you have to give them a massive refund, in which case, like, you're going to have to pay that anyway. What I would offer is look at the RevPAR conversation, revenue per adjusted night available. So the easy way to calculate that, I give you the RevPAR, look at your heating bills or your electric bills, your water bills, whatever it is, the cost that would actually go up. You must know your fixed costs to determine if it makes more sense to have a minimum or just take full advantage of RevPAR. All right? Early bird, to me, it's a must. You absolutely must have that. VRBO and Expedia, consider this as an elimination. Expedia has a very, very high booking fee. So the number that comes through, if you're listed with us and you get a number to email, that number's minus the booking fee. Expedia is like 15%. VRBO is 8%. And then our best and our biggest return comes from the setup that we have with Airbnb, where the guest pays a vast majority of the booking fee, and we pay a much smaller percentage of that. So Airbnb, the early bird, even if you want to do the last minute stuff, that's going to be our best bet. You have to know your RevPAR performance. So if you want to know that and see how you track versus the market, let me know. I'm pleased to report that I can't think of the last time I've produced one of these and we've said that our RevPAR was not beating the market. And that's because of our relationship with my regular relationship with the pricing team and how skilled these men are. I do believe you should eliminate last minute promotions if you're worried about poor guests. If you don't care about what happens in your home, you just want to make as much money as possible, who cares? But if like this is your mother's home or you live there or you've got certain things that you're concerned about, eliminate the last minute promotions. We talked about the cancellation policy. You can consider making your cancellation policy looser. It's up to you. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. We've got some upcoming changes to our platform website. I just posted it there as a reminder for me to talk about it. If you went to grandwelcome.com, you're looking for your owner's portal, you're looking for your site on grandwelcome.com, it's not there yet right now, and there's a reason why. Okay, changes to the OTAs. This is important to understand. May 10th, Airbnb is making changes that, shock, are in favor of the guest. So they're doing this all in one fee. Usually you can search for like $47 per night. You get your rent and then you get an all-in price. Now what they're doing is they're just searching for all-in prices and they're booking it all together. And what they're doing is they're requiring us to disclose all fees and capture all fees. So if you're in a place like Regal Palms, you have to pay fees on site. You just have to know that this is going to be changing. Regal Palms in particular is really going to be hurt by this, I believe. We are working with Airbnb to figure out a solution for this for us. If you are thinking about selling your home, if you're thinking about changing management companies, consider turning off VRBO ASAP. Same thing with Expedia Group. Their cancellation policies changed this year. They've got absolutely massively huge cancellation policy. It's a nightmare. Airbnb actually used to be really bad with this. They've gotten much better. Your house is being sold. You've got issues. As long as we say, boom, we're done with this, we're shutting it down, usually they will credit the owner and they'll cancel the guests and relocate them and not end up charging us, you and me. So you can consider moving VRBO. VRBO does have some sort of host protection, but not much. Expedia Group really offers none. They've got high booking fees. Consider eliminating them. If you're in your portal, it'll show up as Vacay Connect. That's the Expedia Group, hotels.com, TripAdvisor. We've been disconnected from Booking.com for a long time due to fraud. We now have a solution with them. Booking.com is coming back in May, for sure June. We're working with Hopper, Google, again come June, July, and then some smaller OTAs are coming up down the pipeline also. Some new innovative brands that we do think are going to help us create a little bit of a dent. They're going to create a dent in the industry. We want to be in front of those as much as possible. This will happen with our transition with software coming up in May. Speaking of which, changes for us. I know you can't see that. The word I'm hiding is guesty. My big head. So the website looks different. It's going to be much more user-friendly for the person booking. Now, we are studying ways around this. We're trying to figure this out. We still don't have a solution for fraud in the state of Florida. As far as I know, none of the Grand Welcome franchisees in Florida allow for website booking, and the reason why is fraud still runs rampant. It's spreading. It's now going beyond Florida into Texas and Tennessee, Missouri. It's getting worse. So until we can say confidently we know how to protect your home and we can eliminate fraud and chargebacks, we're just not allowing people to book on the web. And we're also not allowing people to, we thought, okay, we'll just turn the website off. And that helped. But these people still found a way to call in with a credit card, produce a photo ID and a picture of them holding a credit card, and still put a chargeback through. So unless we know the person who's calling in to book, we just cannot allow random people to book direct. And this isn't a Grand Welcome thing. This is a Florida thing. This is an industry thing. But until they come up with a solution, now we do have fraud protection service called. I'm just drawing a blank on it. We do have a fraud protection service and something that the guest fills out, but that does not stop them still from filing a chargeback, and for the bank in most cases to side with them. And it's just not worth fighting. It's really not when you can just send them to Airbnb and the booking fees are much more minimal there, and we have host protection. So coming in May, we are transitioning our software system from Track, which you all know, to something called Guesty. It's going to be much more user-friendly. It's going to give us a couple more bells and whistles. It's going to give us some changes and some things we did pricing and guest. We're excited about it, but it's a big change. And if you go to the Grand Welcome website, the locations that are already transitioned are on there. I specifically chose Orlando to be last because I wanted to work all the bugs out first so that we could absolutely make sure that we did this as efficiently as possible for you. We knew this was coming for about a year, and we are pulling the plug on the old one and the new one, and that's happening in May, our slow season. That's it. If you guys have any questions, you want to know RevPAR, I'll go back to this slide. Look, just shoot me an email. I don't think I have anything else. Maybe one more thing. About a third of people who book through Airbnb actually use the early bird special. One more thing to consider. I'll make sure I got all these. Oh, one more thing I was going to say about market sentiment is that with people nervous about what's happening in the industry, these big fluctuations in the market, people are just scared to stay longer. They're just staying shorter. So the shorter stays are more important than ever before. So that's one more thing to consider. I just want to make sure I got all this. Yep, there's a scared mindset. That's your traveler. The traveler who's coming here in general has a scared mindset. Um, yep, that's all I got for you. If you guys have any questions, please shoot me a note. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Happy Easter and have a great summer.